ever. James, there, step forward. James, papaano nyo makukuha ang panalo na ito? Ano ang palag mo?
May birthday boy kami.
Paano mo makukuha ang panalo na ito? Ano naman ang palag mo? Ibigin namin best na. Bren, Twisted Minds, Hive Minds, make some noise for them.
Quad rocking a birthday boy smack dab right in the middle. It's Twisted Minds.
I like what Twisted Mind showed us yesterday. They are clearly a team that loved that early game, and they can hold. That's what got them in their series yesterday against Omega. What could have been a sweep win started with them losing the series, getting Game 2, and unfortunately not getting the Game 3 they want. And maybe, just maybe, if there's a chance that the opponent, or you can block your opponent from getting it.
See something new from Twisted Minds. I would like to see something else besides the Joy Opener, which again, I think AP Ben will try to contest, given that James Banks, he's the man with a million moves.
Yeah, and speaking of something new, we all are used to seeing Der and also Chovskirt with a Badang Vexana combination that can turn things around. But with the recent patch, especially that this team is also used to the global ban system, we need to see something new coming in from AP Bren. Not just wait for the power spike of the Silent Kid and not necessarily rely on the rotations that will be coming from James Banks, the man with a million moves.
So, AP Bren, Coach Pakbet, if there's anything I know about him, and again, I'm getting nostalgic memories from him walking into the stage with Coach Bonchan.
Yeah.
He knows how to break the meta just as much as the other coach.
Yeah, I mean, one of the names that was blessed up upon him was the drafter of the universe. Back in the days when Coach Bakbet would be able to pull off some stops, especially with block picks and steal picks that he does really well in the draft.
They had to change Faramis, Selena, and Bane because of Coach Bakbet.
Yep, that one game where it just became so cheesy. It was even recalls, and not recalls, arrivals galore for them to be able to use that. So I hope they get to channel that. These are two teams with wide hero pools. Both have showed up with 38. I think we've already gotten to the point where we've stabilized Haji's majorly big, huge hero pool. He has 13 unique hero picks for Twisted Minds. I think it stops there. If there is any more, I feel like it's a little bit too late. Save it for the playoffs.
Does it though? Because Gord got a buff.
Oh, that's true.
Vale, even Vale.
I'm still a little bit iffy on the...
I mean, Valir.
It's okay. They're both... again, that happens to me too. If any, maybe the Gord. Maybe the Gord. Maybe Gord's going to be number 14. But against someone with... against a team that has Dare, James Banks, one of the reasons why AP Bren sometimes has a difficulty in team fights is because they dive a little bit too deep to the back line.
We'll see. Again, Haji has been known to take care of himself, use space very well, coming from his history as a jungler and at times a gold laner when he was once with Blacklist International way back in the day. Before the match begins, let's take a gander and a listen to what exactly happens during the Smart Ping Test.
Biling ko nga lahat to. Bibiling ako diamonds, biling ko lahat to ng Naruto na to. Kailan ba to ilalabas yung Naruto? Next week. Huwag tayo masyadong high ngayon, pre. Chill lang nga tayo. Kung ano na naman pinagsasabi mo, Garfield. Salamin nga ako. Wala akong makita eh. Wala akong buff, pre. Wala, nag-retre nga ako eh. Angas talaga ni Fanny. Si Mikasa.
Ako na ako, tol. Lansya lang, tol. Minul to sa CR si Coach Fox, tol. Hindi mo kalabas. Ang masasabi ko, happy birthday. Pero kami panalo. Nice. Guys, bili kayo ng emote namin sa Bren. Pag bumili kayo, may kiss kayo kay Punks. Tapos bigyan niyo ako skin, may kiss kayo kay Shizu. Nice! Kita pa rin, coach. Sige, tulog na yan. Ma-i-blood ka dyan, sige.
That's our Smart Ping Test, bringing you low latency gaming with Smart's Sulit promos.
Subscribe to Only 5G with non-stop data for non-stop gaming on your favorite loading platforms or at the Smart booth right outside our MPL venue.
You know, Joe's a real one. He's watching out for the blood pressure of Coach Pakbet. That's the last thing he said there. It's like, keep it chill, coach. Watch your blood pressure.
I didn't know Pakbet had a situation.
I feel like a lot of the coaches in the league, sadly enough, actually have a lot of situations either with arthritis, blood pressure, gout.
The smart, the brainy people, the smart people.
Yeah.
All right, help us all get smart and tell us exactly how these teams are going to win with the Infinix keys to victory.
All right, so for Twisted Minds, lead and facilitate. So we're looking at the two roamers here, Escalade and Kekadon. So we talked about how, yes, the early to mid goes really well for Twisted Minds, or that sudden mid-game power spike, but you really have to clean up your approach into base sieging, because that's what's been getting you. I think not just yesterday. Looking back at some of their series earlier this season, that's where they lost games too. So don't hesitate for AP Bren. Once you see a play, make it. If it's an error, either try to get something back or don't force it anymore. Just go back off. Just don't hesitate in making a play. If you see a chance, Kekadot, go ahead and do it.
And actually, that's why I think I'm leaning towards AP Brent, because based on the performance of Twisted Minds yesterday, they kind of had a hard time closing, especially game number 1. And we all know AP Brent, the moments that they win a game, not the series, but a game, is through late game comebacks. So that's where I think AP Brent will shine in today's series.
Again, that's exactly what Twisted Minds don't want. When they're knocking on their opponent's doors, that's where they got to get it tighter. Looking at the side selection going into the game for Game 1 in this best of 3, Twisted Minds chooses blue. Currently, we are retallying how the patch looks like, because during Snapdragon Pro Series Mobile Masters, red became favorable. So now we're figuring out exactly why teams want to stay blue. A lot of teams from last night into today's bouts want to stay blue. Exactly what do they get from that? We'll see in the trades, in the draft, in the openers. Bans right now by Coach Bonchan for Twisted Minds, Fanny, Loyi, and Jushin, while Coach Pakbet take out the Matilda, the Alice, and one more pending on behalf of AP Brent.
I think it's going to be the Joy, because if not, Twisted Minds for sure will use the first pick for that Joy.
Angela.
Yeah.
Oh.
Angela could be a ban too. Chip could be a ban as well. I think this is one of the most open drafts we're seeing on the red, for the blue side, because of this Alice ban. Fanny, Loyi, and Jusin have evolved into a blue side ban prio now, weirdly enough. While AP Brent take out the Joy, the Chip is up there to be picked.
Okay.
Who said there are no
Yep.
There he is.
There he is.
I literally invented one.
Speak of the devil. He kind of cute.
He actually is. No.
Okay. So
He's actually Angela's pet.
yesterday. So yesterday,
It's lore accurate.
okay. So they answer right back with Valentina and the Harriet. Yesterday,
You were saying
actually-
yesterday.
So I actually forgot what I was going to say, but yesterday macro was some of the problems that Twisted Minds really had a hard time dealing with up against the snowball lineup of Omega. But with this chip, things could change once again, especially if they get one of MP the King's comfort heroes. I'm actually looking or leaning towards no, Joy's banned out. Will we again see the Lynx?
Or a
of MP the
Hayabusa.
King or Hayabusa?
Keep it safe, keep it tight, because by picking the Valentina this early, which again I am not a fan of, you're blocking off early.
Oh,
Holy God! Holy early Lucases, but no! We got another big L hero that actually got buffed. It's Leomord!
I am so happy, finally, someone's go ahead and picked up the Leomord. Ultimate, they improve the scaling cooldown of and the defense buff. You increase the move speed and you reduce the duration and the collision damage as well. So you get on Barbiel a little much quicker. It's a little bit smoother for being able to get into it. So they actually get the Valentina as one of their 2 picks because they wanted to go ahead and pick up the Lucas. Plus at the same time now, Twisted Minds are going to have to think about banning out the Tigreal, and if ever, at least AP Brand took away a mid laner that can take away the ultimate of the Tig. So this is actually AP Brand, call it overthinking, but they're thinking a step ahead. They're setting up for the Lucas and they're setting up for the Tigreal later on. If they don't pick up the Tigreal, then I will be very confused.
Great block by Coach Pakbet. He's very cerebral. Although, again, I would still err on the side of caution. It might be over-investment into the Valentina. Chovger just has to make it work.
Leomord back in action. We were looking for an L hero, not the Link, not the Lucas, but Leomord. And so far, with the recent patch, I'm guessing Twisted Minds, they're going to go headfirst into every single clash, going to set the pace, and at the same time, try to dominate as early as possible.
But to do that, they need a good amount of burst. So who's it going to be? What's it going to be in mid?
Yeah, that's the difficult thing. They're going to need some... Strangely enough, a stopper and a burst. I think Vexana would be one of their best options later on. If they want to push back the Lucas, Heck, we might even see the Valier pop up actually, but that's not the burst that you're looking for. You need more damage.
That's
You
DOT,
have enough
sir.
control. That's DOT, exactly. It's funny that we're seeing the Leomord going up against the Lucas, because Lucas, I remember I've been telling you this since Malaysia. Lucas, just think of him as like a modern-day Leomord because of how you want to use his Unleash the Beast, just how strong it is. High Loss Kalea is the ban of Twisted Mind, so definitely a good time to pick up the Tigreal for this draft. It doesn't have to be now, but if you want to save your EXP laner for later and focus on matchup there, you pick up the Tigreal here and EXP later.
That is assuming the Lucas is a jungler, which, by the way, folks, has been... It's an endemic. Lucas is now, what, 44 out of 5 times in the jungle?
Yeah.
Rarely do we see him in the XP anymore.
Yeah, and he's clearly been dominating, especially when they have an early game start. I mean, Renmar, even back in SBS, has been saying that the things that you have to watch out for if you're up against a Lucas jungle is an early game kill, and that's what James Pax will be looking for.
Confirmed. The CC will be going to the XP in the hands of Dare, while Lucas will be played by James. What does Twisted Minds do? Is that... No, that's not the Vixana.
Oh, okay. Actually, like the draft of even Irithel, the last 2 picks right now puts a lot of pressure specifically on the Lucas. Maybe even the Valentina to make sure you get the ultimate of the Eve. But we saw yesterday, teams that want to play around the Lucas, specifically a Harith, actually quite struggle against an Eve if their timing isn't right. And the Eve brings down the real-world manipulation at the right time, which Hajizi did very well yesterday against Omega. And that Eve actually makes the Tigreal pick a potential option, not a sure lock-in option for AP Brand. They might want to consider a Cho if they want to go around much quicker, but then that puts a lot of pressure on CC. So they need something solid. I think best pick is Tigreal, but they go Carmilla. Oh. Okay, okay. It's good because now you distribute the damage much better. You're fighting under the real-world manipulation, but now at the same time, Twisted Minds will be fighting under the Curse of Blood if they're not careful. They're all in. Their dive. Those are easy targets for the ultimate of the Carmilla.
And they could also have their own real-world manipulation.
Because of the Chop Skirt Valentina.
Well, I'll be damned. That's also another debut pick, folks. I gotta tell you now, the MLBB dev team has hit a home run. Match after match, day after day, week 7 of MPL Philippines, we're seeing debut picks, but there's another stat that is looming over our heads. Every single time a debut pick shows, that team loses. But how about this time? There's 2 debut picks.
They somehow draw game 1.
Logically, I mean.
Whew. And now, for AP Brand, I get the strategy, honestly. It's just literally to dominate the laning stages of the game. I mean, they have the Harith up against the Irithel, and at the same time, the CC up against the Phobius. So, if things go right for AP Brand, they don't have to play around the real-world
Welcome
manipulation.
to Mobile Legends!
They can just do what they gotta do. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 between Twisted Minds and AP Brand. It's now or never. That point on the line that they both so longingly need to make it to the playoffs.
Right, looking at the starts, it was a triple leash start for the purple buff of AP Bren, while MP the King only got the 1 bit of help of poke, considering that they started in the orange. Both of them, I believe, will just clear top side. They might see each other around the gold coin unless someone decides to change their trajectory and go downwards instead for an EXP lane first exit. Looking at the emblems, MP the King's rocking Assassin. He gets Swift and, yeah, pretty standard. I like the killing spree. If AP Bren aren't careful here, then, well, I mean, killing spree also for the Lucas, so they just both gotta be careful. They're both gonna be playing the same way.
Killing spree seems to be the flavor of choice for most junglers these days. A little bit of a scuffle in mid. Chovsker down to a third of his health. James Spanks giving outplayed here a little bit of a visit. MP the King about 5-6 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're both going to be going for a downside exit. Could be a bit of skirmish here, but the EXP laners aren't showing much. MP the King helping with fast clear. They want to get James out for an aggressive rotation somewhere in the river.
I like how Twisted Minds are keeping themselves scarce. They're not exactly crossing the river because they know of the amazing clapback a Lucas is possible of. Really, he's, I think, the most burstiest of all level 4 junglers right now.
Yeah, it's just enough pressure for Twisted Minds to make sure that James Pax is kept in check. But the first turtle has spawned, and I think Twisted Minds will also like to contest this.
All right, great pull by MP the King here. Both junglers at level 4 currently, and skirmish already.
Okay, MP the King already has his ultimate. Here comes James Pax with the Unleash the Beast. James might be the first man down as James Pax picks up a kill. MP the King caught in the middle, gonna get taken down by Chovskirt, but they also answer back with a dare shutdown.
All right, either way, that's a win for AP Bren.
Yeah, flash combo on point, getting the right targets. First, James, MP the King, got dragged into it as well. So now AP Bren got the start they want, but James Pax is getting invaded. This is a good call by Escalera and Hajizi to balance out the loss that they had, and they get to bring.
James Banks sent home Escalera and Hajizi, enough of a distraction for MP the King to make it back to the pit. And I think that's it. AP Bren are blocked out.
That's a good macro play from Twisted Minds. When you thought that they were behind, a quick rotation from the mid duo forced AP Brent to think twice about what they have to do. Now Twisted Minds wants to extend the lead by trying to contain Shizu down bottom, but Hajizi already cast a real world manipulation. Escalera onto Kekedot.
Okay, so for Twisted Minds, I thought they'd want to commit the ultimate of Escalera to bring James and MP the King quicker into the purple buff so they can steal it plus get the turtle, but they decided to play it safe, gave up the purple buff, got the turtle instead. So AP Brent's James Banks doesn't lose much. Actually, he's still going out of that with a little bit of a smile on his face, even though that Twisted Minds were able to get the turtle. They're still within grounds to turn things around, and I think we've seen that as long as the flash combo from the Lucas comes in like really good, it doesn't have to be perfect, just a good one onto one, then that breaks down the team fight. Because if you lose James, then so much pressure is placed onto MP the King, who'll be the lone frontliner.
Folks, we're talking about James the Phoveus, not James Panks.
Yes, James.
James of
I mean, this is the perfect time to use the ultimate fighter.
Twisted Minds.
To not get your names twisted out.
We're talking about James Phoveus Gloria, all right?
Yeah.
Turtle spawning in the upper quarter in about a minute, and it seems like AP Bren want to hold on for that, because it's very rare that a Lucas wins an early skirmish like that and then gets timed out. I think it's because of that panicked retribution. That's the reason why AP Bren kind of scuffled. And they shuffled back into the purples because James Banks was forced to use retribution. Now, he's going to hold on to it. Now he's going to play that a little more cautious.
Yeah, and for Twisted Mind, it's actually okay that this game has this very slow pace, because so far, Outplay's been scaling up pretty well, even if Kekedot and Shizu is right there. But here comes Escalera. They have the ultimate. Now the crash course onto Shizu, forcing out the flickers, so no flicker for the gold laner.
Oh, down bottom, though. Yeah. There, despite getting spaced out, getting frozen on by James Phoveus Gloria, is bullying him.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why Twisted Minds actually hesitated on using the shortcut dive under the tower to secure the kill onto Shizu, because James couldn't have gone into the portal. He was too low. He was losing in lane against Dare, who's, yeah, as you said, dominating him right now. But Twisted Minds does have a better position right now for this turtle. Escalera still has his ultimate. So Kekedot, honestly, he can just die, but just make sure that he uses his ultimate, gets at least 3.
Okay, and now they're trying to go for Escalera. Shizu dashes in, forcing out the flicker. And MP the King, flawless execution to get the second turtle.
Was that a stolen shortcut?
Yes, it was.
All right, so that allows for AP Brent to relocate.
Yeah.
That's another key ult that they can steal to be able to use as utility. Look at this, Escalera gets cornered.
She's already used up the Zam and forces Escalera forced to use the conceal.
Oh!
James Pax out of nowhere. And now they're trying to make a trade up for Dare. Dare is going to fall, but in exchange for Escalera, outplayed and the turret up top.
He's just so confident with using this Lucas. It was a dive. They weren't juggling it. James Pounce just said, my turn. And he got it. He got the kill onto Outplayed. What I thought was an underwhelming turtle, take that actually AP Brent didn't hardly deeply contest into, they turned into an even better play, getting the gold laner down, getting the tower and the gold lane down, and now they have a good lead. War Axe already built up for James Bounce, and he went for the route wherein he doesn't full build the Hunter Strike. He just went the Fury Hammer first, and then War Axe. Fury Hammy, that's a new one. Okay.
Yep, and then from here he has a smorgasbord of choices. Depends on how Twisted Minds plays the next few minutes of the game. James versus Kekedot. We haven't seen Kekedot really get into an amazing feast of blood just yet. Blocking out Outplayed here, almost pushes that turret.
Okay, they were able to save out the turret there up top. And so far, Twisted Mind still hasn't gotten a good initiation coming in from Escalera, but MP the King already used up the Phantom Steed trying to force Dare away. And going back to my point, Twisted Minds, they're not necessarily using the advantage of having that shortcut, because so far AP Brent has every single lane checked out.
They are iffy on that last key to victory presented by Infinix earlier on. Renmar mentioned initiate and dominate. Sure, they're initiating, but they're not dominating.
Yeah. Domination needs to start coming out. They are a little bit too reactive. They're starting things out, but I think after the loss yesterday, you're seeing a change in mindset on Twisted Minds. You can see it when the team is thinking discipline, discipline, discipline.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing right now in the playstyle of Twisted.
Yeah, honestly, they're really just focused on objectives. They're initiating when there's a turtle up for grabs, but right now, the turtle has spawned. There starts things off. Okay. Still not committing the ultimate here, but James Pax will secure it. Chomsker has his own Phantom Steed, forcing a retreat from Twisted Minds.
What color is your Ducati? Up top, though, they left outplayed.
Oh!
And the RWM dropped by Hajizi.
Okay, just to clear out the mid lane and make sure the mid turret won't be going down anytime, as Outplay trying to go for a trade instead. They're not going for the full commits, but instead for the opposite lane trades.
Oh, he got away with so much, putting down the turret.
Oh!
With impunity, in comes Escalera.
And there's the initiation we were waiting for from Twisted Minds. Got more than what they wanted, a turret plus a kill onto Dare. But still, James Pax is there. Chovskers the will. The chase is on. Who's faster? Is it the Beast or the Motorcycle? As they change their target onto Escalera, and he's gonna fall down in the hands of James Pax.
Nature's greatest predator outspeeds technology. Gets a takedown on Escalera.
So 3 kills already onto James Pax and AP Bren. I don't know whose call it was, although it looks like Chove's Kurt was the first one through. It's like, all right, you know what? Yeah, let's do something here. That was a great call by AP Brand. They didn't give up on the clapback right away. They got something back. Twisted Minds, though, they're still playing the macro game with MP the King pushing down bottom. Slight lead for him in terms of the items. Similar build path, although Queen Swing's already built up by James Pax. He still did not full build the Hunter Strike. Still on the Fury Hammer, while I think we're going to be seeing the last item already, last core item, excuse me, for MP the King get locked in. Might be a Malefic Roar.
All right, big rotation here coming in from AP Bren. James holding the opposite River Brush. And I think AP Bren understand the priority. You need to make some room on the map. Phantom Steed.
Okay, 2 ultimates already casted. Shizu answers back with a Salmon Force, forcing James to retreat, but he still enters in with Infernal Pursuit. Escalera onto the back. Will he cast the ultimate, though? They caught 4 and caught the Silent Kid first. James Pax with a clap back onto Escalera, and MP the King, the next target, is outplayed as James Pax picks up 3.
Great trade. The Silent Kid silencing 3 from Twisted Minds, opening up this Lord for free.
Unleash the Beast. Too powerful to deal with when everyone is just collapsing. Pop it up, flash combo, and there could be another one for AP Bren.
James up against 3, cannot sustain the damage, but Hajizi sees 2 low bodies. Is also there. They're trying to go for James Pax, the retribution holder of AP Bren. They have to force back. Escalera already flickers out, but there, the Yo-Yo Blitz gonna bring him down.
Why walk when you can just pop up from out of nowhere? Escalera, he tried, but he got clapped back on by AP Bren. Twisted Minds brings back an oldie but a goodie. Believe it or not, he was last seen 5 years ago in MPL Philippines Season 6 by then Carl Teasy. In his run with Bren Esports, they would then win that season.
Okay. There. Good zone, a good use of the Yo-Yo Blitz, zone out Hajizi all the way. Now AP Brent has good hold of this Lord. Escalera still not in the picture. Outplay trying to get good brushes there as AP Brent will reset the Lord dance.
Hey, every team fight has been very difficult for MP the King. There's just too much for the Leomord to deal with to be able to team fight smoothly. I think at this point, MP the King will have to think of himself as utility. Really just go for a cleanup and use the ultimate when the members of AP Bren are low. And if it can help you, use it to get better position so that you can get a better angle at retributioning the Lord away. As AP Bren, seems like every time there's a big collapse from Twisted Minds, James Pax presses buttons and good things happen.
Lord dance once more.
Escalera.
That's half health. Escalera concealed to the back.
But gets spotted out by Kekedot as they're trying to zone out the members of Twisted Mind. Here comes the real manipulation. 2 real manipulations, but James Pax will get the Lord plus the kill onto James Hajizi with a clapback and to bring down 3 and a shutdown for MP the King, the last man there. Oh, it's for Twisted Minds!
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what a Leomord does. He cleans house. 5 members of AP Bren taken to the underworld.
There's
And
no
Twisted
holy
Minds
shield.
are no going in.
There's no holy shields, but the
there's a
Lord
Lord.
has spawned 4 seconds before their respawns. But a 4-man push for Twisted Minds might be it as they went for the tower and take game 1 away.
Twisted Minds on the turn of a dime. Take the game. You see the look on MP the King's face. That's it. It's over.
Unexpected. What a surprising way to end it. We were just talking about it, using the ultimate at the right time. He used it quite early into the team fight, but it wasn't as initiating. Once he saw that there were members low and there were members trapped under the real world manipulation, he used his ultimate, missed the retribution, but they got the kills. They got the wipeout.
Leroy Jenkins.
Oh man, Twisted Minds literally replicated what Omega did to them yesterday. Instead of going for the objective, they went for a 5-man swing. They got 5 kills right away.
Yeah, that was, my goodness. I feel like Twisted Minds right now, with the shock, sudden win that they got, their thoughts are in Latin at this point.
They're hacking the system.
They're hacking the system.
They're hacking the system. Nobody was ready for a victory that quick. Again, I don't blame them. There were 2 members of Twisted Minds coming out in literally a jiffy. 2 seconds. That was Shizo and Dare. Or Shizo and it doesn't matter. Like, none of them were able to stop 5 members of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, and those were 2 very healthy, chunky siegemen. Look, when MP the King finally got into the fight and connected with Barbiel, there were 3 members of AP Bren low. So that was the perfect time to bring out the ultimate. And he continued the chase there onto Choveskirt with leaving Shizo and Dare. Yeah, they cannot. They can't.
That's a war crime. You see that? He was going around driving while wailing away at heroes and objectives. Our MVP, MP the King, with a successful re-debut of a Leomord.
So finally, the statistics are in the favor of MP the King. 1 win for a debut pick, and MP the King. We're seeing some sort of a resurgence from this jungler, and I think this patch is really going to be beneficial for him.
All right, this is clearly an example of it's not what you got, it's how you use it. You look at the draft of Twisted Minds, there's not a single line of play that makes them go, hey, this is a Leomord lineup. They had to play into that position because there's no burst. There's no clear way of them saying, yeah, just do this and then Leomord clean up. They had to get to that position very specifically.
Yeah, it's a Leomord that needed to be so much more patient, where it's like, are they low yet? Hey, Haji, do enough damage? Outplayed you good? All right, I can go in? All right, go ahead, let me go in. And then it was a perfect entry. He got so many. That's 4 members he got in his combo, man. 4 of them.
Eventually 5. Did one. Oh, Haji, you birthday boy. Of course he had to get 1.
Yeah. He's like, come on, man. It's my birthday. I want 1 too. I want the W and the kill.
Look at the final clash, man. And that just goes to show how Escalera and James really played their parts very well, being frontliners and the main initiators. Because literally the 3 cores, the 3 damage dealers, MP, Hajizi, and Outplayed were untouched during the final clash.
Yeah, there's just so much dive in front line, and considering that you're fighting against a big area of effect, zoning ultimate as well, it provides so much space for Irithel. That's why when the last 2 picks came up, I really liked it. The Carmilla was a good answer, but at that point, I feel like there were just so many things happening for AP Brent to deal with in that fight that even though it looks like Kekadot got a fantastic Curse of Blood, the Harith has to put himself more in danger compared to an Irithel. The raw damage brought out by Lucas, he won't be able to dish it when he's crowd controlled to oblivion, and there's so many things that he has to deal with as well.
Yeah, he has these windows of invulnerability, like CC immunity, but you have to work to get to that. And James Mack doesn't have that all the time. Compared to Twisted Minds, when they lean hard into an engagement, it's devastating, it's lethal, just like what we saw closing off game number 1. You saw clearly how MP the King leveraged the buff on Phantom Steed. The extra move speed, the burst of speed. Oh man, who did he chase down under the turret?
Outplayed. No, Hajizi. No, Choveskirt.
He chased Choveskirt into tier 2.
And someone chased out. No, that was James Max. Sorry.
Yeah, that was James Max, yeah. Wow. Liam Ward, very happy to see it. And again, I mentioned it in the draft, but to see it up against Lucas, even though James Banks, gotta admit, had a considerably far better game.
Yeah.
But in terms of the winning play, it was MP the King who got the W there. But I think we're seeing there the difference in philosophies for heroes released in different time spans in the history of MLBB. As again, looking at Lucas as modern-day Leomord, Leomord wishes he had everything that Lucas can bring to the table. But the thing that Leomord does best, when it's executed right, is devastating.
Yeah, you can only slap killing spree on heroes so much.
Yeah.
It still just does not do what Leomord does. And that allowed for Outplay to, just hunker down in his lane. Given that Shizo does lean harder into fights, Outplay kept his eyes on the prize, got money on his mind, and became our BPI rich guy.
And that's where the keys to victory comes in, especially the third one. We saw that AP Bren had already had a good start, specifically James Max. At some point, he was 3-0 something. And they also have the Harith up against an Irithel. They didn't lean on the fact that they could gank and continuously gank Outplayed to get him out of his lane.
That is one aspect of that dynamic we didn't notice. We kept saying initiate and dominate, escalera, escalera. No, they were just setting up.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for the right time for MP the King to ride past everyone, run him over on that Ducati, what color is Ducati, bro, to claim game one. I don't know if they were expecting this, that it was going to be a one-time, big-time kind of push, but again, it happened.
Yeah. All worked out, and again, that's what you get with junglers, or at least having a hero in your composition built to clean up. Where if you dive into a fight willy-nilly, and Twisted Minds was on the receiving end of that for majority of the fight, they could also dish that out. But again, it just really took time.
Yep. So now looking back, Leomord showed up in franchise history, was actually in the hands of Kelra. Weirdly enough, there was an episode in Smart Omega's history where Kelra was the jungler, and he played it then. We amend the last stat shown for Carl TZ. I'm pretty sure that happened actually when he played against Next Play, but no, this is updated. It's franchise history, season 12.
So it was that long. Now a potential comeback started off by MP the King.
Yeah, 2 years.
By Twisted Minds again. So I feel like Twisted Minds really becoming a trendsetter when it comes to meta picks. Off meta picks, rather.
Yeah, they made Alice a thing. They made teams ban Alice.
Angela, yeah.
Yeah, for that, I wonder, I'm eating my words now, because now what I thought, the thought of saving it for the playoffs, they're like, no, whoa, it's time for some more surprises.
Because they have to make it to the playoffs.
I'll change my mind. Show us more.
All right, let's see if there's anything left in the tank for Twisted Minds to secure the sweep. But before that, let's go into an all-access with our hosts. It's Hans and Jamie.
Thank you to our gorgeous casters. One game down. Before we move on to the second game of the day, we put the spotlight on MPL Smart Battle Trips.
There we
Syempre.
finally have it. Ayan, magpakilala naman kayo, guys. Sila nga pala ang dalawa naming alay para sa araw na ito. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Shane Ian Atad from the City of Love, Iloilo City, and also a Moontoon student leader.
Ayo, hilo-hilo. Ikaw
Love
naman.
it.
My name is Bernadette Estrada from the Muntan Community Heroes, and I'm from La Union.
Ayan. Ikaw naman, kuya, pakilala. Yeah, joke na. Mamaya. Alright?
Naghanap ka naman ng ibang alay,
hindi
ha?
siya ready. Hindi siya
Okay,
ready.
okay.
Actually, gusto kong malaman more about... Ito, ikaw na to. Ha? Ay, hindi pala. Kamusta naman ang experience mo sa Smart MPL Battle Trips?
Experience ko sa Battle Trips, it's my first time here. Tapos, like, paka-overwhelmed, like, grabe. Ganito pala yung on-site na na Battle Trips. Tsaka, yung mga staff and the tours, ganda.
I love it. I love that you're really having a good time here. We're
Yes.
so happy na you're a part of this. Now, gusto ko namang tanungin si Berna. Berna, ano yung pinaka-tumatak sa'yo when it comes to the talks and the tours of the battle trips?
Ang pinaka-tumatak po sa akin is there are so many opportunities po in esports. Not only in playing, but also sa mga behind the camera, behind the scenes po.
And
Yeah.
that's true, you know, Hans. A lot of people don't see it. A lot of really factors come into play behind the scenes.
For sure. The person holding this mic right now, Chico na part ng Marshals. Kasi
Oo.
sabi niya, banggitin ko daw yung pangalan niya. Ito na.
Ayan
Diba?
na.
Nakuha
Chico,
na.
hello
But at
to
the
you.
same time, I actually want to take note more of the people, the fandom na nanonood ng Naruto. May mga nanonood ba ng Naruto dito? May nanonood?
Mag-ingay kayo!
Meron. O, ayan. Marami. Okay. So, ikaw muna ang tatanungin ko since nandito ka na. Ano bang gusto mong makuha na skin pag lumabas na yung Naruto na collab?
Actually, dalawa yung pinaka-favorite skin ko na
Okay.
upcoming
Dalawa.
release. Opo.
Okay.
Yung first po, yung Naruto kasi ganda ng special effects nun. Tapos yung kalawa, yung yung Soyo, yung Sasuke.
Yung Sasuke. Ba't si Tanggol yung sinasabi mo?
Sample daw.
Ito.
Sample
Sige,
daw.
sample. Paano ang
Sample
sample?
Wow! Wow!
Feeling ko hindi ka magpapatalo eh. Ikaw na to eh. Pakita mo. Ninja pose in 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah!
Ay, akala nyo kayo lang.
Di
Wait
kaya
lang, huwag
akong
tayo
What?